Yo, so I literally just finished watching NFL Live on ESPN, and they had this whole segment about the Los Angeles Rams that completely blew my mind. Like, I was expecting the usual talk about their championship aspirations and how Matthew Stafford is looking for another ring, but then they went in a completely different direction and started breaking down potential moves the Rams could make to really elevate their offense to another level. And the name they brought up is one that I think would be absolutely massive for what Los Angeles is trying to accomplish. Hey, what's up everyone? Before we dive into everything I have for you today, I need to share something real with you that would mean the absolute world to me. That subscribe button right there, hitting it right now would bring me one step closer to my dream of reaching 1,000 subscribers. I know you're eager to get into all this content, but real quick, just smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. It's such a simple thing. It takes literally 1 second, but it's honestly the biggest way you can support this journey and help me reach that milestone. Trust me, every single subscription gets me closer to that goal, and honestly, it would mean everything to me. So do me that quick favor right now and be part of this dream becoming reality. So the show opens up and you've got Laura Rutledge sitting there with the panel, and she starts by talking about how the Rams are in this really interesting position as a franchise. She was saying that they came so close to making it back to the Super Bowl this past season, losing to Seattle in the NFC Championship game. They've got Matthew Stafford playing at an MVP level, they've got weapons on offense, and they've got Sean McVay calling plays. But she was also emphasizing that the window for this team is open right now, and they need to be aggressive about adding pieces that can push them over the top. And that led to this whole discussion about what positions the Rams should prioritize upgrading. And that's when she brought up the name Mark Andrews as a potential target for the Rams. And honestly, the more they broke it down, the more it started making a ton of sense for what Los Angeles is trying to accomplish. Now, obviously, Andrews is currently with the Baltimore Ravens after spending his entire career there. He's a 3-time Pro Bowl selection and one of the best tight ends in the NFL when healthy. But with the Ravens situation and some previous trade rumors that have circulated around Andrews, the panel was discussing how the Rams could potentially pursue him and why he would be such an ideal fit for their offense. Marcus Spears was the first one to really dive into this, and you know how Marcus gets when he's passionate about tight ends and offensive weapons. He was like, look, the Rams have been running more 13 personnel than any team in the league. That's 3 tight ends on the field at once. They clearly value the tight end position and they want to feature it in their offense. But do they have a true difference maker at the position? Do they have a guy who can take over games and be a matchup nightmare for defenses? That's the question, and Mark Andrews is that kind of player. And Marcus was saying that Andrews is not just a good tight end, he's one of the elite playmakers at the position when he's healthy. He was breaking down Andrews' game and talking about how this is a guy who has been one of the most productive tight ends in the NFL over the past several years. He can line up in line, he can split out wide, he can work the seams, and he's got incredible hands and body control. When you throw the ball to Mark Andrews, he comes down with it. That kind of reliability is invaluable for a quarterback, and it would give Matthew Stafford another elite target to work with. Then Dan Orlovsky jumped in with his perspective, and you know Dan loves to get into the X's and O's of things. He was talking about how the Rams offense under Sean McVay has evolved over the years, and how they've been featuring the tight end position more and more. He was saying that McVay clearly wants to have a dominant tight end presence, and the Rams have been taking shots at the position with players like Tyler Higbee, Hunter Long, Kobe Parkinson, and rookie Terrence Ferguson. Dan was breaking down specific plays and concepts and talking about how a player like Andrews would fit perfectly into what McVay wants to do. He was saying that McVay loves to create mismatches in the passing game, and Andrews is one of the best in the league at winning those mismatches. He's too big for corners to cover, too fast for linebackers to stay with, and too skilled for safeties to handle in man coverage. When you have a player like that, it opens up everything else in the offense because defenses have to account for him on every snap. And Dan made this really interesting point about the red zone implications. He was saying that the Rams have been good offensively, but they could be even more efficient in the red zone. Andrews is one of the best red zone targets in the entire NFL. He's got great size, great hands, and he knows how to find soft spots in zone coverage. Adding him would immediately make the Rams more dangerous when they get inside the 20-yard line, which could be the difference in close playoff games. Then they brought up some statistics and context that really put things in perspective. Adam Schefter actually joined the conversation via remote, and you know when Shefty gets involved, things get serious. He was saying that there have been trade rumors surrounding Mark Andrews in the past, particularly during seasons when the Ravens have struggled, or when there's been uncertainty about their direction. And while Andrews recently signed an extension with Baltimore, circumstances can change quickly in the NFL. Schefter was talking about how the Ravens have been dealing with their own roster construction challenges, and they've had to make some tough decisions about who to keep and who to potentially move. He wasn't saying that Andrews is definitely available, but he was making the point that for a team like the Rams that is in win now mode, they should be monitoring every situation and exploring every opportunity. If there's even a slight chance that a player like Andrews becomes available, the Rams should be first in line, and Schefter was connecting this to the Rams' overall strategy. He was saying that the Rams under Les Snead and Sean McVay have never been afraid to make aggressive moves for proven veterans. They traded for Matthew Stafford, they traded for Jalen Ramsey, they traded for Von Miller. They've shown time and time again that when they identify a player who can help them win now, they're willing to pay the price to get him. Andrews would fit that mold perfectly. Then the conversation shifted to how Andrews specifically would fit with the current Rams roster and offensive scheme. And this is where it got really interesting because they started breaking down different lineup combinations and possibilities. Marcus Spears was talking about how adding Andrews would give the Rams the most dangerous tight end room in the NFL. He was saying that they already have Terrence Ferguson, who had an impressive rookie season and who McVay has raved about. They've got Kobe Parkinson and other depth pieces, but if you add a proven Pro Bowl caliber tight end like Andrews to that mix, suddenly you have options that no defense can handle. You can run 12 personnel with Andrews and Ferguson and have 2 legitimate receiving threats. You can run 13 personnel with multiple tight ends and create mismatches all over the field. And Marcus was getting really animated about the passing game implications. He was like, imagine Matthew Stafford dropping back with Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp when healthy, and Mark Andrews as his targets. That's an embarrassment of riches. Defenses would have no idea who to focus on, and someone would be open on every single play. That kind of offensive firepower can win championships, and the Rams are clearly trying to build something special. Dan Orlovsky added to that by talking about Andrews' versatility and how it would complement what the Rams already do. He was saying that Andrews can block when needed, which is important in McVay's offense that features a lot of play action and bootlegs. But more importantly, he's a weapon in the passing game who can be deployed in multiple ways. He can run traditional tight end routes over the middle. He can split out wide and run receiver routes. He can even be used in the slot. That kind of versatility makes it impossible for defenses to game plan against him. Dan was also breaking down how Andrews would help open things up for the other receivers. He was saying that when you have a tight end who commands attention from the defense, it creates easier opportunities for everyone else. Safeties who might normally help over the top on Adams or Nacua have to stay home to account for Andrews over the middle. Linebackers who might normally be able to jump routes have to stay in their zones because Andrews is a threat anywhere on the field. That kind of attention creates windows for other players to operate. The panel also discussed the leadership and experience aspect of bringing in a player like Andrews. Laura Rutledge brought up the fact that the Rams have a veteran-heavy roster and that adding another experienced player who has been through playoff battles would only strengthen that locker room. Marcus responded by talking about how important it is to have proven players in big moments. He was saying that Andrews has been in the playoffs multiple times with the Ravens. He's been in big games, he's made big catches, and he knows how to handle the pressure of the postseason. That kind of experience is invaluable for a team like the Rams that is trying to get back to the Super Bowl. You want players who have been there before, who know what it takes, and who can perform when the lights are brightest. And Marcus made this really interesting point about the Ravens situation and why Andrews might potentially become available. He was saying that the Ravens have had some challenges offensively in recent years, and there have been questions about whether Lamar Jackson can lead them back to the Super Bowl. If the Ravens decide to go in a different direction, or if they need to create cap space, they might be willing to listen to offers for Andrews, and the Rams should be ready to pounce if that opportunity arises. Then they got into some of the concerns and potential challenges with pursuing Andrews. Laura brought up the fact that Andrews has dealt with some injuries in recent years, including a significant injury that knocked him out for a stretch. She was asking the panel whether they thought those injury concerns were legitimate, or whether Andrews still had elite football left in him.